We should. You get out what you put in. Never gonna lose.
Your own jingle, Ashley.
As long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Never gonna lose, never gonna win. As long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Here we are live. It's a Wednesday and it's 2 p.m. but it's a special time because we got Gillian here. Hello, Gillian.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here and just yay.
Oh no, this is absolutely great. Now, tell everybody where you are because you're not in the UK, are you?
No, I'm down in Texas.
Texas.
I'm in Texas. I'm just missing the hat, but otherwise I'm in southern Texas. I'm just outside of San Antonio. Remember the Alamo? That's where I am.
Ah, right. Okay. And what sort of time of day is it for you?
It is 8 o'clock in the morning. So
right. Okay. So
early bird.
We're gone past lunch. It's 2 o'clock here, Gillian. So yeah, I'll just give you a quick debrief. It's been a great day so far. So you're in for a treat. So for those of you, for those people that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about you, please, and what you do.
Okay, thank you. My name's Gillian Whitney. I am a business book coach and a live stream strategist, and I help people get their words or get their face out into the world so people get to know, like, and trust them.
Absolutely. And everything you seem to do is easy peasy.
It is.
And why is that?
Because by my very nature, I was a tech writer for the first half of my career, and my job was making things easy peasy. So everything I approach, it's like, this is complicated. How can we simplify it? And I just feel that's the best attitudes towards life, because we make things to be harder than it is. Most of the time, it's us. We're our own obstacle. And if we can have that mindset that things truly can be easy peasy, then you get things done.
Perfect. And this sort of like falls into what I do, because I teach LinkedIn in 50 minutes a day. And so yeah, that's easy. Because LinkedIn is hard, and but not as hard as writing a book, Gillian.
Well, if you can write a blog, let's even go back further. If you can write a LinkedIn post, you can write a blog article. If you can write a blog article, you can write a chapter in a book, and you write several chapters in a book, and you got a book. It's not that hard. And for those of us who don't really like writing, who sit down in front of your computer and blank space, you can always pick up your phone and talk your book. So there's many, many different ways to write a book. You don't have to go to a mountain cabin with a typewriter. There's lots of ways to do it.
That's interesting. I was what was I doing last night? I was reading. Sorry, it wasn't your book. I don't have a copy of your latest book. What is your latest book?
My latest book is latest book is different. From voice to Your Voice Matters, and I co-wrote this with Tina Jarvitt, and that's my latest book. But the one before that was From Expert to Author, and that's probably more of what we'll talk about today. And I'd love to this
is how I need. This is what I need to do to write a book.
Yes.
Right. I need a copy.
Okay. Here you go.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, that is a good book. And so I was reading a Patterson. I've got a Patterson book on the go. Oh my goodness, he's written a lot of books and sold a lot of books, hasn't he? Do you know he's worth about $800 million?
Wow.
Isn't that incredible? And I went down this little rabbit hole. J.K. Rowling, $1 billion.
Amazing.
From writing books. So, are you a billionaire?
Not yet. And I'll tell you, for the most part, I specialize in business books. We're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, we're talking about, using business. And for the most part, Don't quit your day job. You're not going to make a ton of money making books. But the thing is that books actually do something else for you. They open doors. They position you as an authority, as the go-to person in your industry. And so writing a book is not going to be able to, you're not probably going to be the next Patterson or J.K. Rowling, but it may help you get more clients. And at the end of the day, as business people, isn't that really what we're all about?
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know, I can't think what they said, that the best book you read isn't the one you read, it's the one you write, or something. I don't know what the phrase is. And obviously I've written a book, because there's my book there. And it just changes people's perception of you, doesn't it? Because if I'm looking to get someone to help me write a book, if you've written a few books, you're better than the person that just does it in theory. If I'm getting you to help me with LinkedIn, if you've written a book about LinkedIn, then you're going to know a little bit more than the person that's the perception. It doesn't always ring true. But if you've got the, what's the word? Gumption to go and write a book, the tenacity, the time to write a book. Didn't your first book take you 21 years?
Yes, it was a very long process, because I was writing the book in my head and I procrastinated. And, everybody's got their Achilles heel, the thing that holds them back in life. Mine was procrastination and just constantly talking myself out of it and making it harder than it needed to be with, it has to be the be all end all. And when I kind of let go of that and said, you know what, I'm just going to give myself permission to write the simplest, easy peasy book possible. And my first book was like 50 pages. It was really small. It was based on one topic, which is how to be more comfortable on camera. And that was because at the time I was all in on video and people were not able to do video. I was ready to teach them the tech, but they said, I don't even want to get my face on the camera. So I knew I needed to change the mindset. So I went, why don't I just write a book that handles that? Then I can get people to the point where now I can teach you how to make video. But if we couldn't change that mindset first, it didn't work.
And that's the problem, isn't it? I did a post, obviously, because you're coming on and talking about books. And I saw a post from somebody that said that they don't have time to write a book. They want to write a book. They've got an idea for a book, but they don't have the time. And my comment back to them was, well, if you just do 15 minutes a day, it might take you a couple of years, but at least you've started. So what's your advice to people that give that excuse?
Exactly what you said. It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you write a book? One chapter at a time, one sentence at a time, one word at a time. Do it in little bitty steps, because it adds up over time. So if you can only dedicate 15 minutes a day, maybe you say, okay, I'm going to do an hour a week, because sometimes it's hard to write in 15 minutes, but actually you could just set your timer, whatever comes out of your brain, you get going and then you're done and you move on. There's parts of your book where you might want to schedule like an hour or two, just so that you can be looking at things, structure and that sort of thing. But actually banging out the book, you can do it. You can also start with content you already have. So have you written a bunch of blog posts? That could be the seed of a book, and you've already got your rough draft. Podcasts, LinkedIn Lives, workshops.
Yeah. There is no excuse, is there? Really, it's all there. And you go to the the average person that's got a decent website with a few blogs on it. They've probably written a couple of chapters before we even start thinking about it.
Exactly. So it's really not that hard. And I think the most important thing is that you want to start with an outline. So just take yourself out for a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and sit down with a piece of paper and just think about what are the key things that you want to talk about, and then kind of drill down into what's the most important thing. Because the crazy thing is, most of us have several books in us. And that's the hard part, is going, well, what book should I write first? Write the easy peasiest book that you can, and just look at your clients and say, what is the thing that I keep having to tell them that if I could just give them a book, we could just move this along faster? And always think about your client, think of the audience, your reader, instead of you. Because if you're writing to that person, your book is going to be so much better anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. And is it a good idea to have somebody in mind as you're writing the book?
Oh, absolutely. So I always write to Bob. Bob is my guy. I have like a little stick figure of Bob. I always envision Bob, and I know what his pain points are. And another thing I tell people is like, if you can't envision a reader, maybe you're writing to yesterday you. So you're writing to the person you were a couple of years ago that was stuck, and now think about the transformation you've made. Write the book that you needed several years ago or whenever, because that's also another way to do it. So if you can't come up with the avatar, just think of yesterday you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I was chatting to a guy the other day, and he writes on LinkedIn every single day what happened yesterday. And he uses LinkedIn as a journal. Okay. Some people read it, some people don't. But his dad reads it all. And when he goes and visits his dad's up with everything that he's doing, and he makes notes. And so he'll turn around to his son and say, hey, I noticed you did this on Tuesday. Let's talk about that today. Isn't that incredible?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Totally changed my thoughts around creating content.
Yes. Yes. And it's funny. I'll tell you a personal story. I used to keep a blog, and it was just like for friends and family. And it was like, I was raising my kids and growing up, and, talking about my garden and just like silly things, my kids going on trips and whatever. And when my mother passed away a few years ago, I went to my mother's house and I found a binder. And in the binder, my mother had actually printed every single page of my blog in color, and she had it in sleeves in this binder. And I realized that she had just not only read everyone, but she had printed everyone. And it so touched my heart that she would do that. So I think that's always just reminiscent of the idea of, if you think of one person, sometimes that's the motivation for you to write a book, because not everybody's going to read your book. But if one person read your book and took action as a result of that, or maybe said, oh my gosh, I was struggling with that too. Just think, if you could change one life with your book, would that be worth it? And that's what I do. I just think of that one person, and that's good enough for me.
No, that's fantastic. I love that. I love that. Right. Okay. So I've got an idea. I've started writing the book. I may have finished the book. What do I do once I've finished writing? Because it doesn't stop there, does it?
No. Well, the first thing is you have to stop. and that's actually a hard part, because some people keep fiddling with their books, and you have to get to a point where you say, okay, this is good. This is good enough. I feel good about this. I'm going to move on and not keep adding to it. So you have to kind of get that idea. This is done, and it's a draft, and know that sometimes, there's a phrase. I don't want to R-rate our show, but there's you can say your draft is not so great, right? Crappy first draft. And you realize that you now need to go put it in a drawer and walk away for a week or two before you come back, and you look at it with fresh eyes. And that's when you want to kind of go back and say, okay, what do I need to add? What do I need to pull out? How do I need to arrange this? And then you kind of get it more structured to a better finalized version. And then that's when you might want to get some help of either getting an editor, maybe you want to get a proofreader, maybe you want to get some beta readers. You just want to get some sort of feedback so it's not just you. So that would be the next step. And then once you've got it done, let it go. And this is probably the hardest part, is like, you, even before you're ready to go to the publisher, you're still kind of second, double thinking yourself and all sorts of, let it go, move on. It's good enough. And then get with the publishing people, which I believe you should do yourself. Own your own intellectual property, be in charge of all your rights, your copyrights, your royalties, everything. Be in charge of it yourself.
Right. Okay. So we're not all going to have a book deal like J.K. Rowling or James Patterson. So we've got to do it ourselves. What does that look like?
It's not that hard. So I'm all in on Amazon. You can go wider than Amazon. You can try and get yourself into bookstores and all that sort of stuff. And if you're going to go that route, then you're probably going to do Ingram Spark if you want to go that route and go really wide. But if you just want to get your book out in the easiest way possible, there's nothing better than Amazon because they take care of everything for you. Makes your book worldwide, makes your book print on demand. So it's like for instance, I can take this book and I can ship it. I can actually order this book in France and have it delivered to somebody in Belgium. I can do all sorts of things. This book's in Australia. It's all over the place. And I don't have to have 1,000 copies sitting in my garage. So I really love print on demand. Plus also too, I love Kindle books. I have an iPad. I read tons of books on Kindle. I have your book on my Kindle. And again, that's another way. So think about having an ebook version, which is, the Kindle book, and then having a paperback, and maybe you even want to get a hardback. And then if you want to go all out, you can even have an audio book. So that's all just within the Amazon space, and they take care of the currency conversion, the VAT. Like, we don't even have that in America. But, if I was selling off my website, I'd have to figure out how to do all the taxes and stuff. Amazon does all that for you. So I love Amazon.
Okay. And so that's what you help people do?
Yes.
Okay. So explain what we do next and what the process is, please, Gillian.
Okay, so once you have your book ready to go, then you might want to work with someone like me who I can help you through the publishing process, where I can tell you, okay, here's some decisions you need to make. Do you want an ISBN number? Do you want a Library of Congress number if you're in the United States? All these different things. Having it all figured out. Do you want the print version? Do you want the ebook version? All those different things, getting you ready. And then my partner, who's my husband, he will then take the book, take the manuscript in Word, and then he'll make it beautiful and make it all ready for Amazon, and then hold your hand and help you get that book up on Amazon. Because the one thing that I tell everybody is, don't give the keys to your Amazon account. Don't just say to somebody, here, put it up on Amazon for me. It's like you want it on your Amazon account so you can be in charge, and you need somebody to help you and walk you through it and do the troubleshooting, because at the last hour, things can happen. Your cover can be rejected, or there's something wrong with it, doesn't look right, and you've got to re-upload your file. There's so many things that can go wrong. And then you got to have categories and keywords and all sorts of great stuff. So that's why I suggest working with somebody who can help you, because it is a lot to do on your own.
But it is doable on your own if you so wish.
It is. Yeah. And there's lots of different programs out there that you can, learn how to actually typeset your own book. So if you want to go that route, there's lots of ways that you can do it. Even Amazon offers something called Kindle Create, where you can use it. You just have to make sure you're techie enough that you're not going to be overwhelmed. But a lot of people take care of it themselves.
Yeah, but getting you and your husband to do it, you're just taking away all that heavy lifting. Is because the thing is, right, I'm really good at LinkedIn because I'm doing it every day.
Right.
All right. I'm not going to be good at uploading a book and typesetting and stuff like that because I've only done it once. That was 2 years ago. I can't remember what I did yesterday, Gillian. And that's the thing. And I think that's a great service that you're offering for people. Okay.
Well, and the last thing is that you want to make sure that your book looks great before it's for sale, because there would be nothing worse than putting a book out there and it's like, oh my gosh, did they not get approved? Did they not see this? Because that's going to hurt your brand if you do it wrong. So, if anything, just make sure you take the time to do it right and see it before you sell it.
Yeah, I did that. So just here's my book. Can you see? I've just cut the corner off the back cover. So I've got a book that stands up and people can see it, but inside there was some. You can see all the different pages where I've changed things and scribbled things and made sure the page numbers were right and the chapter was on the wrong page. All kinds of weird little things that you don't get, that you can't see. There are. There's just a few mistakes there.
Yep. And
you don't see them because you get word blind on the screen, don't you?
You do. You do.
So what I did is I printed it all out, took it down the beach and scribbled on it and made sure it was right. Then it went up Then I got the book done and then did exactly the same. I went, oh, really? Why did I do that? Because that's the other difficult thing is the pagination, isn't it? Because
yes,
you want a blank page when you open it. So then where does the chapter go? And then you've got to put them in sequence. Oh, but you help with all of that.
Yes. And it's kind of mind-boggling. Like you look at all of it and it is overwhelming. And one tip that I'm just going to give everybody is when you get your proof, because you can order a proof, and with Amazon, it has a big bar across the front. So you know it's the proof, which is good because you'll never sell it. Read your book out loud. Read it out loud. And you feel so silly sitting there reading, but that's the only way you catch errors. And you're just like, oh, I'm missing a word. I've read this paragraph 70 times and I never caught it. But if you read it out loud, you'll stumble and then you'll say, oh, bloody.
Absolutely. And that is a great top tip. Okay, so I've written my book. I'm really happy with it. And I've read it through a couple of times and I've given it to some family and friends and they've read it and they said it's really good. So now I get you to help me. Okay. How long is it going to take from me giving you what I think is the final manuscript to it being a book?
We can do it in 30 days. So
it's still another month.
Yeah, still another month, only because there's you have to account for the review time. So it's very quick to get your book typesetted and up and ready to go, but then you've got to review it. And there's always going to be little nit changes that, so you're going through a document, it's like a PDF with comments, and you're going to say, oh no, this word should actually be this, because it just happens that nobody writes a perfect book. So then you have to factor in, okay, now we got to re-upload the file again, get it all good, get it into Amazon, and then you have to order the proof. And that takes time because Amazon is going to ship you the proof. So they have to go and print it and then they have to mail it to you. So you're talking 2 or 3 days. Then you've got to now go to the beach, read your book, read it out loud, make sure you've got it all right. Chances are I have yet to do more than one proof. Less than one proof. Well, less. I've done several proofs for every single book. Most of them take about 2 or 3 proofs because there's always something. The cover's not right. A picture's not right. This isn't right. There's always something, which means now you've got to change the file, re-upload it to Amazon, order another proof. So you can see how this is starting to stack your days. So that's why we say a good 30 days gives you all that time to get everything done. So, that's our typical turnaround time.
No, that sounds absolutely amazing. So I've got my book. It's now up on Amazon. How do I make sure everybody hears about it and we publicize it and then I get in the top, whatever it is? Because you see some people, doing a book and then it's straight away in the top 10. What have they done to get it in the top 10? Because I didn't think about that when I launched my book. I just wanted to write a book. I just thought, I'm not a writer. I was never any good at English, but I want to write a book, and that was my goal for 2022, was to write a book, and I did. I got it done by November, so I just about got it done, and that was all my goal was. But some people, they want to get it in the charts, they want to get people buying it and stuff like that. So what are your top tips there, please, Gillian?
Well, the first thing is you can do some different things with Amazon. You can actually do what's called a pre-order. And you can do that for your Kindle book. You can't do that for your paperback. And so once your book is done, you can actually set it that it's like, okay, I want this available on pre-order, which means that people see it immediately on Amazon, but you would pick your launch date. So say, for instance, you said, okay, I want to launch a book on May the 1st. That's my launch date. And you've got all your ducks in a row. We know that we can meet that date. Then what we do is maybe mid-April, we actually get that book as pre-order status. It's all done. Nothing needs to be done. The book is up there perfectly. So it's not like you're still typing and writing the book at this point. It's finished, ready to launch, but now we want to wait till May 1st. So you get that positioned up, ready to go. And then you can start telling people about it and letting people know. Maybe you have people who are doing reviews and, you'll let them know about it. So you want to do what's called a book launch. And in order to become a bestseller, what you have to do is you have to figure out the appropriate categories for your book. And then there's some research that you can do. This is what we help people with as well, is figuring out what's the best category with the least amount of competition. So that's what you want to do. So you don't want to be basically fighting with the J.K. Rowlings and the Pattersons and all those people where you have to sell like 1,000 books in 24 hours. You want the smaller categories. So it's kind of like SEO. You're looking for those keywords. You're looking for those categories that are very, very niche so that you can compete in those. So maybe you only have to sell 20 books in one day and then you get bestseller status. So that's what you're looking towards. But I really believe in keeping it ethical and keeping it honest. So I'm not going to go ahead. I wouldn't advise you to go into basket weaving 101 because that's not honest. But, maybe we could look at, okay, you're writing a book about doing LinkedIn 15 minutes a day. So we could be looking at social media. We could be looking at small business. There's many related categories so that it's honest. And we would advise you use the category that has the least amount of competition. And Amazon lets you choose 3 categories. So, if you position yourself, it's possible to at least become a bestseller status in one category.
So are you saying then I should name my book LinkedIn for Basket Weavers?
Only if it's about basket weaving. I truly, honestly believe keeping it, no clickbait, keep it honest. I think we've all read books where the title promised something and we got the book and it was just like, this was a commercial. There was no content here. And I just felt I got sold a bill of goods. So honestly, although I do have to tell you, title is important. So having your title and then your subtitle, if you can get some keywords in those titles, I do advise that. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great top tip. I like that. Keywords in the title, because that's what people are searching for, isn't it?
Yes. And that's what you want to realize is that Amazon is like Google. It's like YouTube. It's a search engine. So most people, it's not a bookstore that we just go and walk around with our coffee, browse. We actually are keying in something. So think about what's their problem. So for you, Ashley, time is an amazing thing. It's like, how can I do LinkedIn fast? Thinking about all those keywords that have to do with being time constrained people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant. Okay, so we've got the book, we've launched it. How do I sell my book now? How do I, let people? I'm obviously going to have it on my website and stuff like that. How do people buy that book then?
Well, so first of all, you want people to go to Amazon. So
Okay.
that's where you're going to send people. There's a great website called Booklinker, where you can actually go in and put the link, your Amazon link, and it makes it a small link, but it also makes a country specific link. So for me, Ashley, I don't want to go to amazon.uk.co.uk because I buy my books here in America. So if I use that link from Booklinker, I'm going to go to my Amazon store, whereas somebody in Australia will go to their Amazon store. So that's a really good tip, is to use something like Booklinker and always be driving people back to Amazon. Now, also too, you just have to keep telling people about your book. You have to continue to write posts. You have to get on podcasts. You have to get on LinkedIn Lives. I always recommend people use the power of video. Do videos. Why did I write this book? Remind people about it, because we think, oh, people are just going to know. They're not going to know. And I did a live last week with Kevin D. Turner. We talked about using LinkedIn for your author brand, all the places you can be using, letting people know on your LinkedIn profile that you have a book. Because believe it or not, I go on many people's websites and it's like, you wrote a book? Because I don't see it anywhere on your profile.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I'm thinking now, where is it on my profile? That'll explain. But the thing is, you've written a book. It's the best business card you've ever got, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it's a business card on steroids.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
super. It's super.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're coming to the end of the show. I can't believe that. Emma's just turned around and said that was a great tip. I don't know which one it was, because you've just been dropping tips left, right, and center. Emma, when are you writing your book, or have you already got some under your belt? Okay, so I've been watching this, and I've been inspired now to write a book. Okay. And I've got an idea, and a few people have said, and I've made some notes, and I've got some blogs, and I can turn that into a book. What is the thing that's going to stop me writing the book? What have I got to be aware of?
Monkey mind. There, we all have this horrible monkey like lives in our head that says, "Who are you to write a book?" And you just have to tell it to be quiet, put some duct tape on that monkey's little mouth and tell him to be quiet, pop him in the closet and tell him to mind his own business. And just have that I can do it mindset. And really, if you go to Amazon and you look at all those different books, you know that you can put yours out there. Here's a really great thing. Go to Amazon, think of the category that your book could be in, take a screenshot, and then make a mock-up and put your book there, and then print it in your house so that you can envision your book being out there just like everybody else's. And honestly, if I can do it, anybody can do it. The thing that will hold you back is you, and just say, I'm writing this for the one person that needs my book. I'm not going to listen to my mother. I'm not going to listen to these other people. I'm just going to do it. And if nobody buys it, okay, but I wrote it, and that's the main thing. So just keep on doing it.
Brilliant. What a lovely way to end an amazing show. Gillian, you are always so much value. Thank you so much for getting up early to come on my show today. Always lovely to catch up with you. When are you next in the UK?
Oh, I was hoping to come for this year, but I can't do it this year. So probably 2026. That's when I'm coming back.
Well, we're gonna have scones and jam again, aren't we?
Yes, and it was wonderful.
That was so much fun. Just shout out your book and your service so that everybody knows who you are.
Okay, start with this one. From expert to author, I take you through everything. No clickbait here. Honestly, everything you'd need to know to write a book is in there. A business book, not a novel. I can't do that. And start where you are. The important thing is just start. And if you want to chat with me, I'm happy to do a discovery call for anybody who says, I just want to talk to somebody for 15 minutes about my idea. I'm happy to talk with you.
Perfect. And we'll end the show by saying hello to Debbie. Loves the idea of reading your book aloud. Absolutely perfect. Gillian, thank you so very much indeed. I'm doing another special show next week with another author. The lovely Louise Brogan is coming to join me next Wednesday as well. So I look forward to that. And we've also got another week of BizFest here. So yeah, lots of live shows coming up. But thank you so much for joining me today, Gillian. Cheerio.
Cheerio. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye now.
You get out what you put in. Never gonna lose.